Hello everyone, I'm Cherry. Before I start today's presentation, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had the experience that when you have some of your friends, they are more comfortable to expand their social circles and meet new friends, while you have some group of friends that really resist to meet new friends. They rather stay in the same social circle all the time. Actually, it's not only the personality issues of those friends, but it can actually relate to the society natures. So this will link to our research topics and our research themes that will be discussed today. So here is our research theme. Me and Professor Victoria Yeung have investigated the relationship goals and self-presentation strategies in American and Chinese online dating websites using a socio-ecological approach. And this is the overview of today's presentation. We'll talk about the online dating trend in the West and East, and we'll discuss about the socio-ecological approach and how it relates to relationship goals and self-presentation strategies in different societies, and then followed by the methodology of our research results and the discussion parts. First of all, online dating has been so popular in this recent decade, even before the pandemic started, and online dating, which was initially introduced in the Western world, has been very popular, and a lot of the research have been done in the Western world. Not many of them of research have looked at the Chinese online dating trend, even though the online dating markets in China has been rising and become more competitive. So in that sense, we're also really willing to look how Chinese people will look for in terms of relationship goals and how they present themselves on the online dating to attract the partners. So we will make this comparison between the users of the American online dating websites and the users of Chinese online dating websites. But before that, when we framed our theoretical framework, we adopted the socio-ecological approach. And from this approach, we see culture as a process of mind and behavior of individuals are adaptive reactions to their surrounding stable environments. So this approach emphasizes the interdependent relationship between individuals and environments, not only the within individual factors. So from this approach, Yuki and Cheuk introduced the concept of relational mobility, and the definition of this concept is the number of opportunities in a given social context for individuals to initiate and terminate interpersonal relationships based on their personal preference. So with this concept, it can explain the flexibility of interpersonal relationships. So societies with high relational mobility means that they have more chances to initiate relationships like this picture. So relationships in this society are mainly based on mutual contract and are less guaranteed. And people can select their partners based on their self-interest because the interpersonal market provides a lot of choices. And in societies with low relational mobility, it is the opposite. It is that environmental circumstances, instead of the active choice of people, decide interpersonal relationship. So, and relationships in this society are more stable and guaranteed. Although individuals have fewer chances to initiate new relationships or dispose the unsatisfied ones. So people are more likely to stay in the more stable social circle because the environment doesn't allow them to choose their personal relationship according to their personal preference. So how it relates to the people's choice of relationship goals, we can first talk about the societies with high relational mobility, because there are more opportunities to initiate new relationships. The relationships in this society may share a easy come, easy go nature, because people can find a replacement easily with low cost. And also this society is an analogy of a competitive interpersonal markets. The con side of this relationship in this society is that even the existing current partners could be tempted to move to other more beneficial relationships, especially. So it means the relationships are relatively fragile, especially if the self-interest from this relationship was low. So people would tend to choose to more have a diverse relationship goals in this society in order to attract and to maximize their possibility to find a new relationship that can fulfill their social needs. According to previous research by Tidwell et al., 2013, people are more likely to attract and connect with their potential partners who share more similarities with them. So since the relationships have an easy come, easy go nature, people especially in the initiation stage of a relationship, people have a greater tendency to initiate relationships with less commitment. So in that sense, when people want to present themselves to attract others, the key theme is to promote the attractiveness on online dating websites. So that in that sense, they should express their personal needs clearly and directly to attract others that share the same goals, share the same thoughts with them. So self-enhancing is very important. They will have a higher general sensitivity of positive self-relevant information that can increase their attractiveness, and so that they can get social approval, and that will maximize their chances to form new relationships. And also because there is this competitive and fragile interpersonal market, individuals, they show higher motivation to continuously improve themselves to maintain their own attractiveness and competitiveness in the social markets. But bear in mind, even though it is just a relationship initiation stage, it will be also possible for the people to develop and evolve some less committed relationship to a more committed relationship once. So let us move, after discussing the societies with high relational mobility, we'll also talk about the societies with low relational mobility. So here you can see people have less opportunities to initiate new relationships. So in this society, higher sensitivity to social rejection is a more adaptive emotion for these individuals, because it can secure them to be continuously accepted in the low relational mobile social circle. So in other words, they're also more correlated with lower general trust to strangers. It is relatively hard for them to trust other strangers So the best attraction strategy for them to initiate new relationship is to emphasize one's willingness to make effort and commitment to a relationship. So to assure that they will likely to make efforts to make the relationship to be long-term. So they will also affect people's choices of their relationship goals on the online dating websites. People will prefer to initiate long-term and committed relationships because in their mindset, it is too costly to terminate a relationship because their society environment do not offer a lot of choice of chances for them to find relationship. So the key points of attracting others on online dating websites is to gain trust from others. People will be more likely to adopt a self-effacement strategy, which means they have a higher sensitive to negative self-relevant information and to be humble. This is to avoid overt self-promotion, which could lead to costly status competition, especially when they are in a fixed social circle that will be harmful for them. So avoiding that can maintain the group harmony, and that to also avoid being seen as boastful after they found out in the later stage you are not like this, you're not as good as you described before, that will consequently receive a low evaluations from the potential partner. And then the second point is that people online, they have to balance the tension between honesty and making good first impression in order to establish credibility in the online world. Please remember that people are really hard to trust others in general, so it is very important to be honest. And they also have strategies that is disclosing vulnerability to show honesty. And the second function of this is this can arouse the sympathy of the potential partner and invite reciprocity in return, leading to intimacy development of the relationship in the later stage. So combining all of this, our research is actually to find out how people behave and how they think from combining the offline cultural environment and the online cultural environment. This online cultural environment is more the analogy of the open interpersonal markets, which is offer a high social, high relational mobile environment. And the offline cultural environment, it is more like about the US and the Hong Kong Chinese one, because at the end of the day, after they've been linked online, they still have to meet offline. So this offline cultural environment is also important. So using this online tool, we can compare the different relational goals and the self-presentational strategies in these different cultural websites. So we call the 600 personal profiles from 4 online dating websites. 2 are from the US and 2 are from the Hong Kong. So in 2017, so we call it how they describe themselves and the demographical information and how they would like what they look for in relationship goals. So we use the content analysis method, and these are the themes. 2 relationship goals, sub-goals are under the more commitment relationship goal. And in the less committed relationship, we have 2 other sub-goals. And the last goal is more focused on the self-improvement. As for the self-presentation strategies, under the self-enhancement, we have superior characteristics and to express self-uniqueness, and self-effacement to have expressing inferiority characteristics and expressing loneliness. And the results actually confirmed our hypothesis. Users in American websites, they stated many different relationship goals, very diverse. And they also chose less committed relationship goals such as friends and sexual interest, then statistically more than the people that are choosing the same goals in the Chinese dating websites. And they are also more likely to indicate self-improvement as in their self-description goal. While users in Chinese websites, they chose more committed relationship goals such as romantic partners and seeking for soulmate. And in terms of self-presentation strategies, users in American websites are more likely to adopt self-enhancing strategy. A lot of them stating superiority characteristics, not many of them stated inferior characteristics, and they mentioned their self-uniqueness. While users in Chinese websites, they also state they adopt a holistic approach because they have to promote themselves on online dating, but also they stated more inferiority characteristics to show credibility, and they also show more loneliness than the users of American dating websites. So in discussion, there is some limitation of our research because we did not measure users' perceived relational mobility, which can be varied within a society. We only used the data from previous research, such Thomas, they have measured the society's relational mobility level before. And also the study is not in experimental setting, so we cannot make causality inferences. But it actually highlights the power of offline cultures, how they shape people's online behaviors, because this online dating website is similar to open interpersonal markets, but the result is still significantly different from between the two cultures. So you can see online too is a linkage to offline reality. As for the implication, we can see this as global social dating markets becomes more competitive and finding a partner can be more strategic. So it can provide some insights to global social dating market, and it can also make availability of alternative lifestyle choices. So in the future work, you can look at whether embracing culturally relevant dating strategies could actually lead to more positive outcomes in online dating. So it is the end of my presentation. Thank you, everyone.